Hey everybody, I'm your host Renzolian, and welcome back to a brand new MOC review. Or is this Renzo's junk? I think it's a MOC review. So this video is not going to make any sense if you haven't seen this unboxing video. Basically, I bought a ton of MOCs off my good friend Rangus. A lot of these were characters that he was going to use or never did end up using or something like that. So now I'm reviewing them all today. I will just admit I'm a little rusty at reviewing MOCs, so don't get mad at me if I don't know the name of something or if I refer to anything wrong. I'm not as used to this as I used to be. So I didn't actually know a lot of their names or anything, so I'm not going to be super in-depth with their character because they're not my characters, but I do have their names and their bio like pulled up on Rangus sent them to me, and I will read them off to use. I suppose let's start with this guy, Apex. So from what I'm able to gather, this guy's name is Apex, and he's the leader of the New Knights, which was going to be a thing in Life of a Knight Season 4. Obviously, Rangus never got around to that, but he had a lot of plans. For instance, these guys were the New Knights, and I don't know if they were the New Knights of the Galaxy or the New Knights of El Mortis. This guy is interesting, though. One thing you'll notice about Rangus's MOCs is that he tends to go crazy with these really simple builds. You know, you'll just see the way that he constructs backs and everything is relatively simple, but there's always something, there's always pins exposed or something, probably most likely for weapons, which I think is just crazy. One thing I will say is I'm not particularly a fan of this Tahu Mask, so when I do feature this character in Renzo, he probably will not have the Tahu Mask. In my opinion, it makes him look like Kasai in like a mech suit, but that's just my opinion. This guy specifically has a bunch of system bits on him, and they work alright. You know, the range of motion is quite limited, especially on these ankles. You can only really lift it up and down, and, you know, get about a 90-degree bend there. Nothing crazy, nothing super crazy. You can tell Rangus obviously just wanted to experiment with some new building technique. Obviously, the main selling point of this guy is his big arm sword, and it looks cool enough. He's also got this long, wiener. I do actually like the build of the feet. They're quite simple, but again, I think the job one, and I think the job one, and I think the job one, and the legs in general actually just look fine. Like, I have nothing wrong with these legs. The blue pins here, I actually have no idea what the practicality of that is. I'm assuming it was for weapon storage or something. A lot of his MOCs do have this, and I wonder if it is for weapon storage, but that does give him interesting shoulders nonetheless. Okay, so first and foremost, I don't want you guys to think that I hate this MOC. In fact, I don't really hate any of these MOCs. It's not necessarily my jam, but I can at least appreciate the silhouette he has here. Literally, the only thing I would probably change about this guy is if I made him would be the mask. The mask is the one thing that takes away from this guy for me, but honestly, I get it. So, Apex, the leader of the New Knights, not too shabby. I'm going into this with absolutely no order, so we are gonna be bouncing between franchises here, specifically with Campy, who is from Radio Man. So Rangus and I actually wrote a good bit of our show Radio Man. It was going to be kind of a fun idea. It just didn't really work out, but this was one of the side characters for Radio Man, Campbell, aka Campy. And he was one of my personal favorite characters. He's just kind of an optimistic guy. He was going to be very friendly, but he also tries to help him out, and he does some good things. Campy, though, is super simple. There isn't really much I can talk about, but there are some really interesting building techniques. For instance, his body has a lot more going on than you might think. I've also never had this mask before, too, so that's going to be very nice. And he also just has a ball there. I think it's supposed to be a tail, but it's hard to tell. I'm not quite sure. So I like Campbell. He's fun, silly, but simple. Okay, this guy, Rangus, did not even tell me what his name was. I remember him. He was in Faulty Occupation, this guy. But for the life of me, I do not remember what his name was or what his role was. I'm very sorry, Rangus. He's all messed up, too. This guy is really interesting, though. I don't like the lack of friction adders on his legs. That just does make him a little bit loosey-goosey. But other than that, I love the custom wear that Rangus applies to his MOCs. You're going to see that a lot in this video, too. Like, that looks phenomenal. The side piece there being all torn up, the front piece, the head, that's all great. I'm really sorry I don't remember the name of this character. I actually feel pretty bad about that, but I am glad to have this guy. You know, it's weird. I have some of the faulty bots, but I don't have all of them, so it makes me wonder, like, I can't do anything with the faulty cast because I don't have all the faulty casts. I don't know. We'll see. I didn't get all the faulty casks, so it's not like I can do anything with the rest of the cast. I only got a good majority of them, but I assume Rangus wanted to keep the rest of them. I'll have to find a way to build them if they ever appear in Renzo or something like that, which, honestly, they probably will as, like, background characters. We'll have to see. So next up we got this guy, and his name is Dane? Oh no, it's Dion. I remember. So I wrote this character. So basically I was like, okay, he was supposed to be like the sassy best friend to the Radio Man's ex, who was always like, you can't do nothing, Radio Man. You can't do nothing, Jeb. He was always just really sassy. He was like the second antagonist or whatever. He was always just there to throw insults. And I remember I was talking to Rangus, and I was like, you know what? This is good, but I want to have more variety with the MOCs. I was like, you should make him taller. And he just gave him longer legs. I remember being like, that's not what I meant. Jokes aside, though, there are some things I really like about this guy. For instance, the arm technique there is really interesting, and I don't think I've ever tried that. So that is interesting. It does work. Barely, though. You can't really get much of bend with that, but that's okay. His head's pretty cool, at least. I don't really know what's happening, but I can see the idea that he was going for. And I've never had that sword piece before, so that is a nice little piece to get. You can see he's mostly built off of like a Narmoto torso, which again is fine, but I do like the inclusion of these pieces just to make the shoulders a bit bigger. I think that's really interesting. Alright, this guy's name is, hold on. Yeah, Zequon. Z-E-Q-O-N. Rangus, your name sometimes, I'm telling you. I actually like this guy, although for kind of different reasons. I mean, honestly, the main reason why I like this guy so much is probably just because he looks almost exactly like a Furno from Hero Factory. That's pretty much my only reason. I know it's really shallow, and I know that's not at all the original intention, but I mean, this just feels like a new Furno to me. I really like what he did with the shoulders there, using those pieces and cutting them up. That looks fantastic. The chest, unfortunately, doesn't really stay on that well. I find that it pops up a lot, but that's okay. The front piece is also a little weird. I feel like you probably could have gotten rid of the sidebars there. It would have been fine, but whatever. I don't mind. I also really like these pieces here. I think that's a genius idea. I never even once thought about doing that. I do actually like the backpack build, like for the thrusters and stuff going on there. I think that's pretty nice. So I really just want to use this guy for Furno. That's kind of the reason why I don't want to put this guy in Renzo, because I'm like, oh yeah, this is just Furno from Hero Factory. But I will at least throw him in the background at one point, and then maybe I'll use him for a Hero Factory thing sometime in the future, because I still want to do Hero Factory. Okay, next up is a guy called Odiel, or Audiel, O-D-I-E-L, I believe. And there's a lot of interesting things about this guy. So right off the bat, what I really like about this guy the most is the custom painted mask that I believe was from Comrade, and man, that thing is absolutely gorgeous. It is so well painted. If you guys want to see a little bit more of what that looks like on the inside, you can see some bits of brown there, but it is honestly pretty perfect. I forgot what Comrade's method for making masks was, but that is just so pretty, and it keeps the gloss. Fun fact, I've also never had these pieces before, and I gotta say these pieces are looking killer, so I cannot wait to use them in the future. Everything else is fairly simplistic, but I don't think that's a problem. In fact, I like the ideas with the wings on the back here. I don't know if it's a coat, or I always got the impression that it was like a wing kind of thing. I also like the sword. I mean, it's a very simple idea, but I just like the shaping and the color of it. I think it's very cool. From what I was able to gather, it seems like this guy was going to be a villain for Life of a Knight Season 4, and I think that's interesting. I would have liked to see where that would have went. I wonder what his role would have been as a character. Okay, cool. We finally have another knight. This is Noble, and I've always loved the appearance of this guy, specifically due to this piece. But there's a lot of things I want to talk about here. So Noble specifically, has a pretty good color scheme. I mean, yeah, it's two basic, very simple colors, but I absolutely love how they're applied here, especially with the eye there. I think that is genius. And this chest armor piece, I am so excited to use because I've never had this piece, because obviously this is a UK exclusive thing. Not only that, he's got some great like weathering on the armor there, although I feel like it's from a different MOC because he doesn't really have the weathering anywhere else on the rest of the MOC. So not only that, but he has more of those black creature hands that I absolutely love, and he's got this piece on the back, which surprisingly I have never owned, so I'm very excited about that. In his bio, it also says that he uses energy as a weapon, so I wonder if this guy would have been like a magician who was able to like shoot out beams of energy or something. That would have been very interesting to see where that would have gone. Alright, next up we're looking at Crabclaw Man, and that's not his real name. I will check for his real name, and if it's not Crabclaw Man, I'm going to be incredibly disappointed, Rangus. It is... that's not even working. Come on. You guys see that? Ilzox. It's like it might be two L's. I-L-Z-O-Z. How the hell do you say that? Lilzoc? I don't freaking know. Rangus, come on, man. How am I supposed to say that name? We're looking at freaking Ilzox, okay? We're looking at freaking Ilzox, alright? Aside from his weirdly hard to pronounce name, I actually really like this guy's appearance. A, he's got this cool-ass head mask thing, which is on a ball joint, and that thing looks awesome. He's got these big, beefy beast shoulders. He's got these crab claws. I mean, that is obviously his biggest feature, and I quite actually love how he did the build of them with those torso pieces there. His legs are fairly simple. The worst thing about him is the fact that there's no gear, so he constantly spins around. That is something I'm going to have to end up fixing just because that's a personal preference. I cannot film with a MOC that shaky, but he probably did have it and the Rangus took it off. It's fine, especially if you need the parts. But I love his mask. He gives off a very interesting crustacean-like sea creature vibe, so I might definitely kind of lean into that. Alright, next guy is going to be this guy. I've seen him up from afar. And his name is Sitchrook. Alright, this is Sitchrook, or Sitchrook, or Sitchrook, I don't know, something like that. Apparently he's a Faulty Occupation character. I don't remember him being in Faulty Occupation, but I haven't seen it for probably a couple years, so, or however old that video is. I could have sworn this guy was a knight, but I guess I was wrong about that. He does look a lot like Echo. I would never bring Echo back, but I love having this mask. I've never had it before. I like getting all these red and lime green pieces, especially these feet, which I have also never had before. And this sword piece, I've also never had before. It's slightly worn down, and like you can tell from the axles that this thing has seen some days, but she lights up. Okay, she used to light up. I swear to God, when I first got the MOC, it lit up. I don't think it lights up anymore. I do like the combination of the shoulders. It just gives them a really Metroid-esque feel, so I'm a fan of this one. I'm so happy to finally have this piece. I've always really wanted it, so yeah. Hell, even this piece is nice. Now we're going to look at our only two idiots characters, this being... I actually don't remember their names. I want to say Good Guy and Best Guy? I don't remember because I know that Rangus wanted to change their names. Basically, it's Good Guy, but he's got a stupid face, and this is Good Guy 08. But he's got like weird like glue or like, I think it's like putty or something to give him weird eyes. I don't know. Good Guy 08 and Cool Guy. Oh, okay, so Cool Guy and just Good Guy 08, which I'm pretty sure is the same name of the character in Revive Bionicle. That's okay. Cool Guy is not just Good Guy. He's got big clown shoes and the arms are goofy, and this thing is freaking stuck on there. I don't know how Rangus managed to get it this stuck on here, but this thing is like forged to this headpiece, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I'll be honest, Rangus, I probably won't keep these guys apart. And there is Good Guy 08 with his big Hero Factory boots, which are nice. I like having them in this color, and like I said, really interesting how he did the head there. You can see the process behind there, kind of. You can see how he used the clay to kind of mold it together. I assume it's like hardening clay that hardens, because it is like stuck in there. Okay, I apologize. Rangus did not tell me the name of this guy, but I know he's a Faulty Occupation character, and I know he's voiced by Comrade. I say no. I think he's voiced by Comrade. I actually really like this guy, but I'm going to go into more reasons why right now. So, I'm a sucker for green MOCs, so this guy kind of immediately hits me. He's got those bow rock legs there, and I think it's a really funny technique. I don't know how well or how good it looks, but I do actually really like it. He's got a freaking huge backpack with a whole bunch of studs and stuff, which I assume were for his guns, because I know he had a bunch of guns and stuff like that. Honestly, the eye use there is really clever, and I've never really thought about using it until recently, so thank you for that idea, Rangus. He also comes with just a crap ton of useful parts. I am a huge fan of this. He's very skeletal. You remember my robot cult, like, group of MOCs? This guy totally looks like he'd fit in perfectly with those guys, which is perfect. Like, that's the kind of Space First consistency I'm looking for, which is great. I suppose we should probably look at Jeb Shelby, the Radio Man himself. I mean, it was Rangus' idea to start doing the Radio Man show, but Jeb Shelby really was a character I was super excited to explore, especially in the Space Verse. I will just say Jeb Shelby absolutely is still 100% canon to Renzo, and like the events of Radio Man are canon, even though they never actually happened, but this character is 100% canon, and I like him. In terms of like being unique, I think he stands out as a Space Verse character, because I mean, put him next to Renzo, he looks absolutely like he doesn't look anything like Renzo. He's completely different, and that's what I really wanted Jeb Shelby to be. I was like, we really got to make this guy like unique and interesting, so we gave him a tail, we gave him this weird alien head. He's wearing a suit. I like the idea of him being brown. Obviously, Radio Man never came to be, but the spirit of this character still is very much alive in this MOC, and I quite like him. There are things that kind of irk me a little bit, like the pins on the back and stuff like that, but whatever. I don't mind. I'm just happy that this guy even exists in any way, shape, or form, and I love the beady green eyes. I think that's my favorite part about him. Unfortunately, Rangus didn't send me the name of this one either, but I assume this is the new Mantis. It looks like the Mantis, and I assume that it was going to be used in some capacity in Life of Night, but I'm not 100% sure. Rangus, if you're watching, be sure to correct me, because I'm not quite sure who this is, but I'm pretty sure it's the Mantis. So here's my take on it. I love the concept of Mantis. I love the concept of Briggs. Obviously, Briggs is very much dead now, but I like the idea that this technology was kind of, effective for them, so I like the idea of someone trying to take that technology and now making it into a mass weapon or something like that. I think that's interesting. Or maybe this is just another member of frickin' Briggs species building a new mech inspired by the Mantis, or just literally taking the pieces from the Mantis and upgrading it to their own liking. There are a lot of really interesting building techniques going on here. I love the inclusion of these pieces. I think that the split face pieces, that's great. I love the claw arm. I love the gun arm. I love the shoulders. I have a very interesting build, and it's just built off of this really interesting thing. You can get the shoulders really high up. It's all on ball joints, which I think is really, really neat. Yeah, I am down. I like this new Mantis. I love the wear and tear on that front cockpit. That is so cool looking. I absolutely love this. So, good job, Rangus. I really like this one. Alright, here's another Radio Man character. We got Sully. Now, Sully was meant to just be Jeb's boss, so he wasn't going to be a major character or anything, but he was going to be kind of the antagonist of the Radio Man show, who was always going to be at Jeb's collar and be like, you need to do this, you need to do this, blah, 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 blah. So, for instance, Jeb was the host. Campbell, or Campy, was his producer, who was actually who actually got the show like greenlit, and then Sully was Jeb and Campbell's boss. I really do like the body that he went with here, the build of which is very unique, and I really like it. It kind of gives him some setback shoulders, but that's alright. I love the shoulder technique, which I believe was something mostly that Comrade uses. I'm not sure if Comrade came up with it, but I believe this was Comrade's like Matoran, Akotan, shoulder pad idea. One thing I don't like about it is that he's got a big old crotch ball. That is a little unfortunate, but it's just kind of part of the torso. You'd have to kind of add some extra pieces to make that go away. I do like the inclusion of lime green in the black color scheme. I think it makes him stand a lot better. It could have been black and gray, could have been black or red, but I love the fact that it's green. It just makes him stand out a little bit more, and also the green, you can tell, is like superficial things, so you can tell these are green boots, green gloves, and then green tie. The spikes are a little weird, but that's alright. It's Space First, you can live with that. He's really simple, but I think his simplicity is actually what I like the most about him. Probably try to end off on a bang, but I suppose I can get... let's just get this guy out of the way. Little blue man. Now let me look to see who he is. Rune. His name is Rune. So I'll be perfectly honest, I don't know which series this guy was going to be in. It might have been Idiots, it might have been Life of the Night, it might have been Faulty Occupation. I don't know. Either way, I don't mind. I like how simple and simplistic he is, but I gotta say, these blue pieces here are a gift from God. I don't have very many, so getting a whole bunch, getting 6 of them here is pretty damn awesome. I really appreciate that. I'm not just gonna rip him apart right away. He obviously will Make a little cameo on Renzo, of course. This mask, too. I'm weirdly excited for this mask because I've just never had it. I'm excited to see what I can do with it. He has torso articulation. He has good leg articulation. Well, decent leg articulation. I mean, he can lift it like that. And his head can move. I mean, this guy has way more range of motion than I was even expecting him to have. So that's pretty crazy.
Okay. This is Crypt, and I really like Crypt.
So why do I like Crypt so much? Honestly, it's due to this torso build. I really like it. It's genuinely one of the best torso builds I've seen in a while, and it's based off of a pretty standard frame, but I absolutely love the shaping of it. The way that these come down to form the skirts and how they fit around the legs, that's perfect. The chest, the shoulders, the way the head swoops in, the way that the cape sits there. I mean, that is all just incredible. I think it looks fantastic. The one thing holding this guy down, though, honestly, is probably the limbs. The limbs are very simple and kind of, they're almost too simple, you know? But man, I absolutely love the torso design, Rangus. Great job. I think you did a phenomenal job with this torso. It just looks incredible. And again, maybe I'm going crazy, but I just think the combination of you can see here, like, with the silver fading in and the black all being black at the top, I just think that's a really, really genuinely awesome design choice. I think it just works.
Okay, we are getting down to the bottom 6 here, so let's do another Radio Man character. I have here Kay. Kay is Jeb Shelby's ex-girlfriend.
I mentioned before how Dion was kind of one of the villains of Radio Man. I use the term villain loosely. They were mainly just foils for Jeb that meant to embarrass him. Kay was the main person who was going to constantly embarrass him, with Dion kind of being the second in command. And her build is super simple, but I kind of like it. I really like what he did for the heels here. Yeah, the back of the heels aren't perfect. Those are only really there just to stabilize the MOC, I'm sure. And she is tiny, but I like her face. I think it's funny. She's got a little swoop of hair. She's got green.
Okay, we're going to look at a green man next. This is Ko. Just Ko. Okay, that's very simple. Ko is one of the future knights, I believe, right? Yeah, Ko the Knight. Okay, so he was he's one of the next knights.
And despite the simplicity, again, I do like this guy. He is basically like a space-first gunned-up Vizuna, which, you know, say what you will about that. I like the idea, though. I like the idea that he's like this weird hunter. He is the same species as Bria, who I did not get Bria, which really sucks, because I wanted Bria. He's also got a custom cut piece there, the same one as the red guy had, which is interesting. His limbs are a little lanky. I'm not a huge fan of his legs, but overall, I like what he's going for. I honestly probably would the only thing I would probably add would be like a tail or something like that, and maybe longer arms or something. Maybe if I can turn these pieces green, then I think he'd be perfect.
We have, next up we have Lyrax the Knight, and he is a very small looking dude. To me, he looks like a bad guy. I mean, he totally looks like an Invader Zim character or something, with his big old cape, his puffed out, like, collar, which I'm not sure if that's what Rangus was going for, but if it is, great job, because I actually really like that about him.
To me, he really doesn't look like a knight. He screams more of a villain, or like at least like a bad guy or something, than a knight. But I don't mind him. I think he's very cute looking. He's got like tiny little chicken legs. He's got like a big coat. I just imagine he wears like a big cape coat or something everywhere. I just imagine this guy being some sort of weird like newbie criminal or like drug dealer or something who just has a very pitched up voice and he's always screaming or something.
This, I believe, is the last knight. Oh wait, no, it's not. This is Grex, and Grex is interesting. He doesn't come with his sword, which makes me sad because the sword looks pretty cool. But he's very like, there's a lot of conflicting things going on here. He's very smooth, but at the same time he's got all these spikes. But I suppose the spikes are all contained to one spot, which is nice. I do like that. But he is incredibly smooth and simple.
I do really like the pieces including here. I've never had that white Lewa mask, so that is a blessing in disguise. And I do like how the head is on a ball joint, which is nice. I do fear that this head would pop out a little too easily, which does suck. Also, this piece, so fun fact, Pridak was actually my first ever Bionicle set, so to get this was really just a blast of nostalgia, and it made me feel like ordering one. I still haven't ordered one yet, but I will let you guys know if I do order one, because I already have Takedon, so might as well. Other than that, though, he's very interesting. I'm a little mixed on him. I don't think he's terrible or nothing. I just think he's just incredibly standard. You know, he's got very standard limbs and proportions, and the most exciting thing to me is the head and the foot piece on his back. But he's not terrible. I think he gets the job done.
Alright guys, this is the last of the new knights, and his name is Vitin, Vitino, something like that. Viton.
And I'll be honest, I love this guy. He totally fits in with the Space First. I love the like hunter colors that he has. He totally feels like a hunter, not necessarily a knight. He feels very much like a hunter with like the straps and the ripped up cape, and even the head and like the green and the beige. That's all perfect. He's got the same blades and same like setup as Binky, so that is a little weird and a little something I might have to change. But overall, he does feel to me like a very fitting character in the Spaceverse, and it was the last of the new knights too. It's pretty cool. I do like how half of them are tiny and then the other half are big, which I thought was funny.
And I think we're all done. Oh, wait, one more. There's this dog thing. I think Rangus said it was originally supposed to be like a pet for Rangus. He's got chomping jaw action. He's pretty cute, I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, he's a dog.
Alright folks, that is going to do it for all of Rangus's MOCs. I just gotta say, no matter how critical I came off in this video, like I've said it 100 times in this video, I am endlessly thankful to Rangus for sending all this crazy stuff out to me for a relatively cheap price too. I promise you these characters will appear in Renzo, have some sort of involvement. Some of them will even be like more involved characters that will appear, not just like little background cameos. I hope you'll enjoy that. I hope you guys enjoyed looking at all these MOCs just as much as I do. When I first busted them out, I was so excited, and I'm happy to be doing this again. But probably won't be doing any more MOC reviews anytime soon, especially not in this style. But thank you so much for watching. It means the world to me, and if you do want to see more stuff like this, I suppose I could give it a shot. But no promises. I don't really want to. I'm sorry for the half-assed nature of this video. I really just wanted to get all these guys out on camera in one video. If you were hoping for more individual reviews of every one of them, I'm very sorry about that. That would take way too much effort and way too much time. But instead, you're getting all these guys in one video, so I hope you like it. Alright, folks, that is going to do it. I will see y'all later. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all